Welcome to the Pro Tips video series designed to arm biology learners with background knowledge needed to kick butt during upcoming lessons. Students are encouraged to watch these tutorials before attending lecture on the topic and rewatch them while studying. I'm Professor Workman, and today's Pro Tips address a common misconception about how populations change over time. A population refers to a group of alike organisms living in the same place. This could be all people in Chicago or all pigeons in Chicago. These are individuals of the same species who, because of their geographic proximity, could potentially reproduce together. So you can think of a population as a gene pool. This gene pool is the sum of its parts, meaning it contains the mix of genes that everyone in the population contributes. A population is typically only a fraction of the entire species, which refers to all members of that species in all populations around the world, like all humans everywhere. Typically, individuals only have the opportunity to reproduce with others in their own area. So a Chicago pigeon is never going to be able to make chicks with a London pigeon because pigeons don't migrate that far. They will never have a chance to meet. Just as someone born in Los Angeles, California, is unlikely to have children with someone born in Kathmandu, Nepal. It is this reproductive separation that splits entire species up into smaller units called populations. Because of this reproductive separation, you can imagine that the gene pools in distant populations tend to become more and more different over time. Consider this population. Some individuals, by chance, may reproduce more than others, and this determines what the next generation looks like. So imagine a new trait enters this gene pool. Perhaps it's a mutation that makes hair green. And perhaps green hair is associated with genetic resistance to a deadly illness like COVID-19 or malaria. Or perhaps green hair is just irresistibly sexy. For whatever reason, imagine that people in this population with green hair are likelier than their neighbors to survive and have children. In this scenario, what do you predict the next generation will look like? So long as hair color is inherited by children from their parents, the next generation is likely to have a higher proportion of folks with green hair. And if the benefits of having green hair persist, then the population will have more and more green-haired folks each generation. If we count the number of people with each possible hair color, we might find that in the initial population of parents, maybe 15 people had black hair, 6 had brown hair, 1 had the original mutation for green hair, this guy, 6 people had blonde hair, and 2 had red hair. When we count hair colors again 50 years later, now we're looking at the same population, the same gene pool, but it's now comprised of their kids. Notice that since green-haired folks were likelier to reproduce than others, this second generation has a higher frequency of people with green hair, simply because they inherited it from their dad. And we can do this again, looking at their grandkids. We can watch this beneficial mutation spread in the population. Since green hair was beneficial to reproduction, the distribution of hair colors changed in this population over generations, with green hair becoming more frequent and other colors of hair becoming less frequent. Each generation, the gene pool has more and more green-haired genes. Eventually, this trend may lead to everyone in this population having green hair. This brings us to today's key terms. The first is a word which is used to describe any change in the frequency of traits within a population. The word is evolution. It typically occurs over generations, And you can think of it as an adjustment to the mix of genes in the gene pool that naturally happens as a result of some individuals reproducing more than others each generation. Our other key term is population, which is a group of potentially interbreeding individuals. You can think of it like a gene pool. And importantly, the population is the unit of evolutionary change. Here is a question for reflection. Do individuals evolve? The answer is no. Individuals either reproduce or don't. We either contribute our genes to the next generation or we do not. It is only populations comprised of multiple, non-identical individuals that can evolve. Evolution is therefore an emergent property of populations. Emergent properties arise when a group of parts can do something that none of its components can do alone. Like individuals can't evolve, but populations can. In summary, you have learned that a population is a group of potentially interbreeding individuals who contain the gene pool. You have learned that evolution refers to any change in the frequency of traits within a population, and that this typically occurs over generations. You also learned that it is populations that evolve, not individuals. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, you might consider watching other videos in the series. Here's my contact information, and I always welcome any feedback. mworkman@pima.edu. Good luck in your biology journey.